Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation
USA Podcast. It's episode 109 of the Hop Nation USA Podcast, and we're coming to you live from Southern Tier down on the North Shore. That will explain any errant background noise that you might hear.
And I must explain that the North Shore, for those that aren't from Pittsburgh, North Shore is Pittsburgh.
It's between the stadiums. You'll figure it out.
There you go. Just Google it. You'll be fine.
Just Google it. You'll be fine. But yes, we're here at the Southern Tier Brewpub. It's not just a tap room. They actually brew here. And we are joined by Adam. You already heard.
Absolutely.
We also have our returning guest host, Dennis.
What it do, bugaboos?
I'm Steve, obviously. And we have two representatives of Southern Tier. So I'll just let them introduce themselves and what they actually do here down at Southern Tier.
Hey guys, I'm Justin Schau. I'm the head brewer here at Southern Tier Brewing Company.
I'm Cassandra Buncie. I'm the events and marketing manager here at Southern Tier Pittsburgh.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to be here, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming on the show.
And sitting in the brew house.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. That is where we're at right now. We are in the epicenter.
I just can't get out of this place, I guess.
Keep right back
Magic
in.
happens.
You live here. This is your job. You live here now.
So speaking of, we're going to be drinking some beers that were brewed right here on site. Especially the first two. These were not made at the mothership. These were made here in Pittsburgh on the North Shore. You can see them making it behind the glass where we're sitting right now. So Justin, we'll have you introduce the first beer of the evening. What the hell are we drinking?
Okay, guys. Our first beer is going to be our Hazy IPA, we call it. It's kind of formerly the North Shore Fog, which was one of our first, I guess, more popular beers that we got going down here in the Pittsburgh community. It's a hazy, juicy style IPA. The cool thing about this beer, a little bit of a backstory, is our brewery hasn't really, dabbled with any like New England style or hazy style beers. So we kind of wanted to test the waters in Pittsburgh. So I was able to kind of be pretty creative and work with a team in Lakewood to help develop a beer that ended up turning into a brand. We actually put some work behind this beer and some market research down here in Pittsburgh. And if you've seen the Lakeshore Fog out in stores or on tap panels around, that beer was actually inspired off the beer we're about to drink.
Oh, right on. So this one came first.
This one came first.
This is the original, the OG.
Yeah, we changed the name just to kind of eliminate confusion, but we call this one the Hazy IPA.
Okay, right on.
What's the ABV and IBUs on this?
The ABV is going to be 6.5%, and I targeted 20 IBUs on this. So I wanted to, have a lot of hop flavor, and a low bitterness, and a lot of the, those flavors and aromas.
Right on. Just out of curiosity, can you divulge what kind of hops are in this?
I can. So this one was hopped with Citra and Amarillo. I almost hopped those two 50-50. I did a pretty aggressive dry hop on that one, a pretty early on dry hop. So we're getting a lot of flavors, like a lot of late hop additions, that really help, bring some juicy flavors out in this one. So
right on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll take you out of the spotlight for a second. Let's get to the beer itself.
There we go.
Yeah. So for those who haven't been on the show, or if this is your first episode listening, we like to take a look at the beer, just kind of remark on its looks, take a smell, and then we'll take a taste. So looking at the beer, it looks like a hazy IPA.
Right. Yeah, they called their shot.
Yeah, it's
Nailed it.
It's got a nice yellow straw color to it. Yeah.
A good haze. The hen got a nice looking hen. It's been sitting here for a minute or two while we were setting up, kind of just taunting us, to be perfectly honest. But it came out nice white hen. Still a little bit hanging around, hanging on the glass nicely. Good looking beer.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
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 Guys.
So on the nose, I got a lot of that Citra up front.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
on the taste, I feel like I get more of the Amarillo. Like there's a little more of an earthiness and a little more of a bite to it.
Right, pulling in on the back end a little bit.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But the nice thing, Dennis, you said that it's pulling a little bit on the back end, but it doesn't. To me, it doesn't linger that much.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate, because I am not a linger guy when it comes to hops. I'm not a hops guy.
Yeah, those 20 IBUs, they're all about that life.
I know. The lower, the better.
It's definitely really refreshing, though.
I was going to say that, Steve. I'm actually perspiring profusely at the moment, and this is a perfect beer for that reason.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a hot and muggy day today in Pittsburgh, and
little storm came through.
Yeah, I know we made a little bit of a hustle from the garage that we parked in to get over here. So yeah, I'm a little sweaty myself.
I think these tanks still might be hot as well, guys.
Okay.
That could be it too.
We had a brew day today, so
This is my version of hot yoga. So
So I've actually done a beer yoga before, which was great, except for the fact that the yoga instructor cared nothing about the beer, and she just went through a regular session, and then whenever you could, just grab a drink. So it completely destroyed everything.
oh man,
She didn't get it.
She didn't get it, right? And then
get it.
afterwards, she's like, "Oh, we went through this quicker than I thought we would." Because you weren't enjoying the beer. You were just going through the moves. Let us enjoy this a little bit. Come on, work with us.
You need a lot of child's pose.
I'd hate to see her do goat yoga because goats just running around at that point. What are they doing there? I don't know.
Just kicking you. That's
Just
all.
eating your clothes.
Right on. So yeah, I think we're all enjoying this beer, and that's a little bit surprising. Adam is not too complaining, so obviously it's a really good hazy IPA.
No, I am not. I am not grumpy right now, and that is a good thing.
So Justin, you did a good job.
appreciate that,
Yeah,
guys.
first one down, good job.
Thank you for the feedback, guys.
Yeah. We'll come back to it at the end of the segment, but now we want to learn a little bit more about Justin and Cassandra and the North Shore location here. So I can just say right off the bat, I think all three of us, me, Adam, and Dennis, all have been fans of Southern Tier for a long time.
Yes.
I concur.
Yeah, I know I've been chasing Pumpkin,
Warlock. I'm still. I get a case of that every year.
I spent $90 to have a case reserved at JR's because JR's was the only place in the area that was getting it at the time.
Yeah.
JR's was the best. That's what started my love affair with JR's.
That's true fandom right there.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I've been chasing pallets as well. You get word, oh, there's a pallet of pumpkin here. Okay, we got to go grab that. 2 hours later, you get there, and 3/4 of the pallet is gone. And you're lucky you got it. Okay, I got it. I'm good. I can get back to life again.
And I would definitely agree with that. So the Pumpkin, the Warlock, and all those higher ABV beers, they tend to age very well. So I'm still sitting on some 2017 Warlock.
Nice.
Just do like a mini vertical every year. I love it.
Nice.
I'm also a huge fan of the 2 times IPA as well. So, I've been in love with Southern Tier for a while, so we're really happy to be down here.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate that, guys.
we're happy that now, finally, people ask the question over and over, is Southern Tier open?
There should have been
Can
a
we
t-shirt
not?
of that.
We
is
can
so
confirm it is.
insane.
I thought we were over that. That
we
was
had
a thing.
Don't call it a comeback.
That was a thing. That was a thing. Yeah, so we're proud that we were able to finally open our doors mid-January of 2017. And since we've opened our doors, we've gone along for the ride. So we kind of strapped in, and it's been a nice ride since our open. So, for us, the whole "what are we open?"
Right.
or those first couple days of people coming into the preview days and sending out those pictures, I think we took that as very humbling. I mean, I think that we had a very anticipated release, and for a lot of not our doing, there were some delays in the timeline to open. So opening a full-scale restaurant, as well as a functioning brew house that needed to be functioning as we opened, securing the liquor license, because we also sell our own spirits.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
true.
we bring our spirits in from New York, from the Southern Tier Distillery. So all those things take a little bit of time, and we wanted to make sure that the guest experience as we opened the doors was a true Southern Tier experience. So that was really super important to us. And, as someone who's been in this building since the hard hats and the bar wasn't even built, we were as excited and as anticipating as everybody else. So I hope that we have delivered a product to Pittsburgh that doesn't disappoint. We strive to, what Justin does with the beer here is phenomenal, but really it's about the whole experience. We hope your service is phenomenal. We hope your food is, we don't serve typical pub fare. Like we have an executive chef driven menu with some pretty fun offerings. And so from soup to nuts, we hope you have a great time. It's about everything to us.
You're not two-dimensional.
No, we're not two-dimensional. And I think that the beers, I think if people come in for their love of beers, I hope they leave with, that was a great time. I want to bring my friends there. Oh my God, you've never been to Southern Tier? Let's go. And with the way that the addition in the beer garden, the beer garden opening was a game changer for us in terms of what it looks like on the North Shore. And we added some turf this year. I don't know if you guys saw that out there.
I did. I was going to talk about that.
So it's kind of like, the beer garden itself it's kind of its own experience. It's almost like having a park in the middle of the North Shore. We do welcome well-behaved, leashed animals. I say animals because we have had cats. We haven't had rabbits yet, but we have had cats.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, no rabbits, but definitely some cats. They've been fun. So, I think on days where people are like, oh man, it's nice out, what do we want to do? Like, I hope the Southern Tier comes to mind. Not only to try, a little bit of all that we have, but just come chill.
Yep. Absolutely. So one thing I found out, Justin and I were talking before we started up the mics, was the amount of local craftsmanship that is in this restaurant itself. We were putting tables together, and he was telling us that the tabletops were actually produced by Amish up in Mercer County. They've got that local fare, they've got that local flavor here, and I was very impressed with that. I didn't think that level of detail was going to be in this restaurant. And I'll say, like you mentioned earlier, you haven't been to Southern Tier yet, we gotta go. I've said that multiple times.
Right.
And I really appreciate coming into this space and just the fact that you guys went above and beyond to get that local craftsmanship in here as well. It just makes it that much cooler.
Well, here's some actual fun facts. So next time you are in Southern Tier, and when you're in the main, not the outside space, but the inside space, look at the light fixtures. Those light fixtures are everything that's barreled in here came from Southern Tier barrels that we did some of our aging in. So every barrel in here came from Southern Tier. So there was once beer in everything that you see on the wall. And on the light fixtures on this side and both over where the dining room tables are and over the high top tables in the bar area, those were all built by a local craftsman, Derek, and he did the installation. We only ordered 2 of those initially, but when he delivered them, they were like, give us 4 more. Same thing with these standing rails in the center. Those were handcrafted on site, but also by Derek. So
that's awesome.
That's all wood that for a week and a half, we just had pressed like what do you call those?
Those clamps, yeah.
The clamps.
Yeah.
They were oak clamps, and they were just big clamps.
Just holding the glue.
Yeah, like all the glue was holding together. And when you look at them now, the way that they're aging, they were once perfect pieces of wood, and now I think they're starting to tell the story of 2 years later. So you have divots, you have a little aging on the end, you have a little splintering. It's all very authentic, and it was all done local Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Wow. And that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great way to ingratiate yourself to the local community. Jumping back just a little bit, you were talking about when you were opening, you had some challenges while you're opening. What challenges did you find after you were first open? Was there anything that kept you from really bringing anybody in, or was it mostly accepting? Because we all know Southern Tier, like pre-2014, which is what I'd call the Pittsburgh boom. We just celebrated 5 years with Grist House and Brew Gentlemen, and
right.
There's a lot of 5 years that went along. So like 2014, I'd say is the boom, but this opened in 2017. So was there any challenges to overcome doing that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think from once people got the word that we were open and what our hours were, those first couple of months are, to me, as what I was then was a floor manager as well as the marketing manager, those were a blur. We were putting in, all of our staff was putting in 16-hour days, either to start or end the day, and it was just a constant stream of people. The challenge, I think, one of the things that our original brewer, who's now in Charlotte, David Harries, who built the brew house with Finn DeMink, the owner of Southern Tier, the founder of Southern Tier, they literally built the brew house with their own 2 hands, which is great. I think one of the things that was really important to David and Finn, as well as the brand as a whole, was that we get involved with the local scene. So before we even opened, we did a collaboration brew. We invited all the brewers up to Lakewood. Justin was a part of that. And we invited all the breweries to come up to see the facility. We didn't want it to be anything antagonistic. Like, we're here, but like, we want to be a part of the brewing scene and we want to contribute. So when we opened the doors, we started having conversations with Brian at Grist House and some other leaders. That what became of those conversations is now the Pittsburgh Brewers Guild.
Okay.
So, that our first meeting was right over there at that table. So It was really important for us to become a part of the community really quickly and use whatever leverage we had to bring everybody up. To make sure that we had a voice and that everybody had a voice equally. And how do we do that in Pittsburgh? And how do we really put the amazing beer that's being made in Allegheny County on the map? And how do we make Pittsburgh a beer destination? And so that's been a passion of Justin and I. And Justin came on, and Justin immediately got involved with the guild as well. So we're pretty active in that, and feel we're really passionate and strong about supporting all beer that happens.
So speaking of talking about supporting all beer, I know that that Southern Tier has a couple of other locations. Specifically, you talked about Charlotte earlier. Is there any plans or any thoughts of having collaborations between the individual brew pubs, or any swapping of regional brews or anything like that? Justin, any insight on that?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely speak on some collaborations that will be coming. As far as kind of getting Cleveland's beer here or Charlotte's beer on tap here, there's some difficulties with that, with the state and the government and certain issues. But we actually just talked recently about doing some Cleveland and Pittsburgh collaborations, kind of dipping into like each other's markets and just having fun. But as far as, like I said, like serving each other's beers, I don't think we can do that.
Have you ever thought about just getting Burt Reynolds in a black Trans Am and just making a midnight run?
Let me go on Auto Trader. Let's get this done.
R.I.P. Burt Reynolds.
That'll be the hard part.
Yeah. I mean, you could also get the Duke boys. They're still around.
Yeah, we can get a 69 Charger. We'll be good with that.
Yeah, they'll cross state lines for you.
We can make this work.
That's right.
I mean, hell, if Matt Damon can grow potatoes on Mars, we can make this happen.
Walk in the park.
Nice.
Cassandra, you mentioned how you also sell the Southern Tier spirits out of this location. And I noticed that there are coming around a lot of canned spirits from other locations like Brewdog. They do canned spirits, and I think Dogfish Head might start doing them soon. And I believe Southern Tier is doing some.
We do. We have canned cocktails from the distillery in Lakewood. The challenge is Pennsylvania Liquor Control.
We've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm sure this is something new. So I believe that we've applied for permitting. And that process is just pretty slow. So as soon as whatever approvals and regulations they come out with for the canned cocktails, they're really good product. And we're all kind of bummed that we don't have them. Really bummed that we don't have them because they are that good.
And it's that alternative beverage, the standard bottled, to beer. So it's actually one of our competitors if you think about it as a brewer, or those canned cocktails. Yep. But it's pretty exciting that we're dipping into that, and I'm sure we'll start to do some more of that stuff too from us. Yeah.
I was just curious about possible coming here because I know I've been in Ohio, and I take runs over there every now and then. I take my own Duke Boy runs, and I've actually had a couple canned cocktails from a Texas location, and I can tell you, like, canned Moscow mules are pretty damn good.
True.
But I would much prefer to buy like Pittsburgh,
right?
Buy Pennsylvania.
Well, and I think that we're itching to do it, and I think that that's been on our radar for eight or 9 months. So it's just a matter of timing. I don't think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when.
Okay.
And the other thing too that I think is a challenge, but I want your listeners to be mindful of is that we also need to consider where we are. So canned cocktails have an ABV that's significant. Right. So when you're looking at where we're at in proximity to other establishments that serve alcohol down here, as well as the stadiums, we also have to be a steward for the community and think about those things too, and how we regulate without, iron fisting. But you want to make sure that you're not hurting somebody as well. Right. Yeah. You're aiding in their good time, not the cause of something.
We didn't get our shipment during the Kenny Chesney concert.
Right, exactly.
Quote unquote.
Oh man,
we missed
the shipment just didn't come in. Sorry.
That's a matter of national security.
Yeah.
It sounds like a swipe light kind of day.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. So, I think that's exciting, though. And I think it's exciting when you look at Southern Tier across the board and you see that distilling is doing amazing things, that each individual location is putting out amazing amazing beers and different brands, and what Justin is able to do here and the way that he's been able to scale that nationally. It's kind of a testament to our commitment to innovation and not being behind a trend, but actually can still being in front of those things. So, I think that's what we're always striving to do.
So is there anything that you're seeing that's the crest of the wave right now, beyond the cocktails, in the beer scene that you guys are seeing that's rising, that's a rising tide?
I mean, you've seen like the emergence of like the milkshake type beers, the hazy IPAs. Right. I know those have been around for a little bit now. In my eyes, I just kind of see the craft lagers kind of making a comeback.
Thank God for that.
I know, like as brewers, they do take a little longer in the tank. Right. They take up some space, but that's something I kind of see coming. There's a bunch of cool like wild fermentations that can kind of create some cool flavors with sours, and some barrel aging. Which is stuff we're going to be working on in Cleveland. So it'll be exciting to see what those guys can do up there.
I like how we talked about earlier, how you guys are multifaceted, not two-dimensional, and through this conversation, because I didn't really think of it before, but you could tell that's what Southern Tier is all about from top to bottom. You guys are really building a brand, and you've built a brand to where if something changes in the industry, you have multiple pillars to fall back on. From a business perspective, that's really great, and you guys are an operating model for a lot of breweries that are starting out and some that have been in the industry.
All right. No, I appreciate hearing that. We have a pretty good portfolio. Someone comes in here, pretty sure we can point to something on the menu that where they can at least give it a try and hopefully enjoy it. We have a pretty good wide variety of beers here, which is pretty unique if you think about how many breweries there are and how many offerings that they actually have. So.
And I've used that to my advantage before, I can tell you that. Just saying, hey, let's go to Southern Tier. They'll have something you like. I just know that.
Which is Adam's code for, I don't like IPAs. I need to find something I can drink.
That is correct, yes.
Adam, I think you're my spirit match. So we're going to have some good drinking.
Yes.
To do.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Adam's been looking for a friend.
Wow.
I do think that.
I'm just kidding. Love you.
I think one of the things that we do pride ourselves on is that our staff and, Justin commits to doing a monthly tasting with the staff, and so all of our staff is all of our serving staff and bar staff are all Cicerone beer server certified.
Oh, okay.
That's really super important to us, and Justin does ongoing training with them. So I think what we do is pride ourselves on the person that comes in and says, I don't drink beer.
Bullshit.
By the time you leave, we have found a beer that you can drink and that you will like. So I think it's, that's a part of the service experience that I just came because my husband likes your craft beer. Like my husband's addicted to whatever, and they're like, they're like, you got any cider? And we're like, we got beer. So, but it's a matter of getting those folks, like really having a conversation. Like, what flavors do you like? What don't you like about beer? And it's awesome that we have 30 taps so we can say, I can find you something.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
And you can still have a great craft experience. And I can find you may not love it, but I can find you something that you can at least kind of connect with.
Right.
And then that's the gateway drug to craft beer.
Amen, brother.
All it takes is one.
It just takes one.
Find a jumping off point. So are there any events coming up? The future, probably like Father's Day, or what else is coming up?
D-Day.
Not D-Day.
Flag Day.
Most people don't celebrate those with beer.
Yeah.
July 4th.
Most.
You celebrate anything with beer.
So we have an ongoing live music series every Thursday from 5 to 8, and that's in the beer garden. Unfortunately, we are not doing that this evening that we are recording because of the torrential downpours for the last 48 hours.
28 was a river.
Yeah. It's been pretty bad. So we postponed him. We rescheduled for this week. But that's every Thursday from 5 to 8. And we also do have a $4 feature on live pale ale during that time. We have every Sunday you can come in and play whatever board games. So we have Sunday Fun Day. That's every week.
Oh, right on.
We have a daily happy hour from 4 to 6. And then on Father's Day, we're doing Father's Fest this year. So there'll be a brunch from 10 to 2 p.m., I believe. And then we're going to do giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff that day for Dad. And there's always something going on, kind of. But Father's Fest is the big one for June. We do a ongoing program called Monday Matters, which we have identified a Monday of the month, And from 5 to 8, if you come in and you support that organization, we give 15% of whatever you spend back to the charity. It doesn't cost you anything. It comes sort of off of our line.
Okay.
So you identify that yes, I want to support that charity, and we give 15% back to that organization. So we've worked with Humane Animal Rescue for our first one. The second one, we did the Three Rivers Water Alliance. They approached Justin, so water is super important to beer.
Yeah.
Hobbs, right? So for Earth Day, Justin did a 422 beer. He brought back 422. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It was the original Southern Tier Earth Day beer, started in 2004.
Light pale wheat ale.
It's delish.
I think might have
Never
had
had
it.
that.
Might have.
Oh,
Might have.
you would have loved it. It was a
okay.
beer that I drank.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah. So Justin was like, Justin gives me beer like they did Justin Brews. He's like, maybe. So this one, he was like,
man.
you'll like this. And I drank it and I was like, you're right. I love this.
Nailed it.
This is all sounding so
nailed
familiar.
it. Nailed it. So we were able to brew a beer for that, for Earth Day, and then do something to support the waterways. And our next one coming up is at the end of June. And we're actually supporting the PA Vets Association.
Yes.
No, not vets that way. Vets like animal
veterinarians.
vets.
Oh no, my dog's my best friend. Right
Okay,
now.
perfect.
My wife.
So Sunday,
Sometimes they
June, yeah.
compete.
So Sunday, June 30th, from 1 to 5. If dogs and cats are on the forefront of your mind, that's going to be actually a really cool event. And we're raising money. They're starting. Listen, how cute this is. You can totally edit this out if you want. But
Oh, no.
I just want to tell you,
We love cute.
Like,
If it's cute, it's in.
I think this is awesome. So they are.
Would you make
starting-
editing decisions?
I know, right? We drink the same beer. He likes cute. We're vibing. So they're doing a Meals on Wheels for dogs. They're piloting a
Oh, cool.
program in Allegheny County. So if the owner can't afford or go out to get the food, they can call the association and they will drop by food for a month for their pet.
Oh, right on.
So,
That's cool.
like, if they can't get to the mailbox or
Man.
get a Chewy delivery or afford
They're about
it,
to get a phone call.
it's going to be Meals on Wheels for dogs, which is awesome. I mean, I think that's pretty noble. I think it's kind of out of the box.
Yeah.
So that's June. So there's
Right on.
there's all kinds of stuff coming up.
Right on. Well, come on down to Southern Tier. Check out one of the many events that they have going on, or check them all out. I don't know. I'm not your doctor.
I know we'll definitely share the Monday Matters. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to push that out as much as I can, especially on our platform, to let our subscribers and constituents know about it. Swing in on Monday.
Yeah, especially because you know, for this one, because you all have dog lovers and all things, and you
That's
are a
true.
dog lover.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, we would appreciate it. And really, all you have to do is say, use my check. It's not like a,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I'm here
all
to
they have to do
support.
is say it.
They just have to say
Now,
yes.
do you guys ever have representatives from certain those organizations here on those Mondays?
Yeah, we sure do. So the first one that we did, Humane Animal Rescue had a dog in the lobby that was adoptable. So as people walked in, and that Monday was actually, it was packed. They drove tons of traffic in for that one. And then for the Water Alliance, we had them out in the beer garden, and they had an information table, and they were doing, this is who we are, this is what we do, these are the organizations that we work with.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I think we're ready to come back to this first beer.
Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Because all the glasses are empty.
Yeah,
'cause
we drank all our
already
beer.
drank 'em.
We drank them all.
There's just victims out here, man.
Yeah.
Okay, round
Here's that
2,
slate.
bigger glasses.
Yeah. But it's a good sign.
It is. The sheer fact that my glass is empty readily, that means it's a good beer for what, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least it's quick, because your glass is it always gets empty. It's
It'll
just
get
sometimes
empty.
it takes longer than
That's
others.
right. This time it was just, just easy drinking.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't want to say mindless drinking because that's not, appropriate, but it was, I didn't have to think about it. I had to force it. It's just, oh, okay, beer. Great. All right, I'm digging this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
agree.
dug it all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. That's coming from the guy who doesn't like IPAs. So from Dennis and I.
Oh, yeah, it was really good. Well, you can't drink the bottom half without drinking the top half.
You got to get there.
But yeah, from Dennis and I mean, that's a super refreshing beer. It's not too heavy on the hop bite at all. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the Amarillo hop, but
Right.
this one works for me pretty fine. So yeah, I don't know. I would drink a lot of this on a hot day in a beer garden.
Absolutely. And it's not sweet. I'm getting
Yeah.
really tired of a lot of those sweet
Oh God, yeah.
IPAs. Now, this one I can have all day, every day. Pray to God it's at any local pub or dive bar that I go and play darts and pool at, because this is the go-to beer for me.
Yeah. I assume you're talking about the Brewdog milkshake IPA that we had last week. That was all.
I'd prefer RIP. Just lay that one down to rest.
When you're just saying, too sweet for a hazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this, the hops carried through in the back end.
Yeah, no.
I knew they were there. Gave me what I want without overindulging my taste buds. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, while different on the flavor profile, I would say it's more similar to the Toppling Goliath Pseudo Sue that we had, and it's very mild. But the flavor and aroma is all there. But
Right.
it doesn't punch you in the face, but it also isn't sickeningly sweet, like you said.
I
So,
agree.
yeah. And it's also similar in ABV, so there you go. I think we're all set to take a break. We'll load up again with bigger glasses,
And I'll go check on my car, make sure it's still there.
and Dennis will make sure he has a ride home. And we'll come back with segment 2, and we'll get to learn Cassandra and Justin a little bit more.
First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials, including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com.
Welcome back to episode 109 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. We're still here live at the Southern Tier location on the North Shore.
Steve, you sound like you're in a DJ booth right now.
That's what my dream job was. I always wanted to work erotica.
I was going to say, did your dream die? But that answered it.
Yeah.
If that ever happens, can we just make sure that Dennis does not get on the stage?
Dude, you don't want that. I'm telling you, especially if you're trying to make money. If you're trying to end that business, I can help you there.
You got to change his name from Dennis, too.
Yeah, that's true. Just now on stage, Leroy Jenkins. The only guy that puts clothes on.
Yeah. Put it on.
See, I've already got your shtick figured out. All you need to do is take one of your brew boxes and strategically place it.
Hey, man.
Then you open it, and then there's a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And then you take the T-shirt out, and you put the T-shirt
Was
on.
it Lonely Island that did a song on something like this?
Yeah. We got this. We got you. We got your marketing figured out.
You're going to make dozens of dollars.
I'm going to make all the nickels as they hit my body.
They're going to be
My
crumpled.
soft, supple undershell of a body.
They're going to be crumpled and ripped, but you'll make dozens of dollars.
Tell my wife, look, we're not going to be rich, but we can afford ice cream.
No boy. We'll figure this out later. This is a later time business meeting.
We'll workshop that one.
Yes. For now, we're going to turn it back over to Justin, and he's going to explain us this other beer, our second beer of the evening. What have you brewed for us this time?
So beer number 2, we got a coffee blonde ale. So this was a really cool beer. Actually, my first beer I brewed down here, my first recipe was this coffee blonde ale. A little bit of background on the beer. I brewed a pretty standard, I guess, blonde ale, but I wanted to take that beer down to a local coffee shop. And I kind of milled around, and I ended up walking in. I was in Strip District and walked in a coffee shop called Allegheny Coffee and Tea Exchange.
Oh, okay.
So I met those guys, really great guys, Derek and Eric over there. They kind of informed me that they have worked with breweries before, and this wasn't just some crazy idea that I wanted to do. So we picked, a handful of coffees, and we just started doing some cold pressing, some tasting, some blending some beer and coffee in our mouths and what works with this beer.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a fun little, experiment, and we were able to kind of pick a blend that worked perfectly with the beer I brewed. So,
Nice.
We picked a Tanzanian light roast, from those guys over there. And you guys want to give it a taste?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course we do.
We've been waiting for this moment.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure Allegheny City has also worked with Grist House on a couple of their beers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think looking at this one though, looks like a blonde ale, but it has that little brownish tinge to let you know that there's a bit of coffee in there.
Right.
Was this aged on beans, or was it just putting in a cold press?
So I basically did some cold pressing with it, with the grounds. The way I do it is I kind of concentrate my cold press into like a modified hack barrel keg.
Okay.
Wow.
So that way I'm kind of like, really concentrating my coffee, and then I'm pumping that back into my tank, but I'm also, I'm not compromising a lot of color. So it's it's a pretty cool way to do it. I've got to do it a couple times for a couple big batches, but I think it's definitely a cool, small way to kind of do a concentrated infusion.
Right on.
Yeah.
What was the ABV on this one?
This one is 5.1.
Nice and easy.
Yep.
Super sessionable, drinkable.
Yeah.
This definitely goes into the direction of a gateway beer, where, as mentioned earlier, somebody who doesn't drink beer, but if somebody really likes coffee, send them this way.
Absolutely.
Because this is gonna bring them in nicely. Because it doesn't have a big, huge hop flavor. It's not overly malty. It's got a good round coffee flavor to it. And it's going to invite people in that don't normally drink beer but like coffee. This is going to be a good gateway for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can tell you right off the bat, like drinking it has a whole lot of coffee flavor up front. Like it's all there for you. But on the back end, it kind of tapers off, and it like there's no bitterness that hangs around or anything like that. So even if you're not like super into coffee either, it's not a harsh coffee flavor. It's just really flavorful up front, like with the nice roastiness. And then it kind of tapers away, and then it like encourages you to drink it again. It's what it does.
I think what I enjoy about this beer in particular, and this is one of the beers that I do drink, I think that the coffee on the nose tricks the mind into thinking it's more coffee than it is. Like I find the coffee in this one a little more subtle. And what I hear from guests all the time is that it's not too much. And they say that they're surprised by the color of it. They expected it to be darker. And I think that's, again, all a testament to how Justin brews. Like, I think that it is, you just did it. So tell them what you just did.
I held my nose and I drank it, and you all right. 100%.
Yeah, so I think the coffee on the nose, definitely. I think this is one of those beers that if you're a seasoned beer drinker and you know what you're looking for, the subtlety in this one allows this one to be almost an all-day drinker, almost a sessionable drink. So, Justin, what number? This is what incarnation of this beer for you?
Oh, this has got to be batch 8, I think.
Okay.
So this has become a staple for us here at the Brewpub, and I don't know what we would do without Coffee Blonde. Like we go through it. Like he makes double batches.
Yeah, it's been a regular.
Is this something that is always on tap here? Or tries to be
more often than not, yeah. More
at least once every other month.
Yep,
you can
for sure. Yeah,
awesome. That's
I'll definitely keep it in rotation. Yeah, it's just something the crowd down here has really been enjoying. So
absolutely, definitely super well balanced. I definitely agree with what Cassandra was saying. There's a lot on the nose. It's like a full bouquet of coffee. Yeah. But once when you drink it, you get a little up front, and then it tapers off to more in that blonde ale style, and it's mighty fine, mighty fine.
Agree.
Yes.
Yeah, the only other thing I'll add is we're all big fans of the Spoonwood Cold Drip City,
right?
And the one thing you can notice, and it's probably due to working with a local coffee house in the area, is that you're not getting the same coffee flavor either. Like these are both good beers, but they're both different because they have that recognizable difference in coffee flavor. Right. So it's worth drinking both of them, really.
Right. They're both good based on their own subtleties.
Yeah, indeed. Right on. So I think we're going to continue drinking these out of our much bigger glasses, and hopefully we'll have some left for the end of the segment.
I'm a real boy.
But for now, we're going to get to learn Justin and Cassandra a little bit more, and just exactly what they do down here at Southern Tier. I want to start with Justin. You didn't do a whole lot of talking in the first segment, so I'm going to needle you a little bit more on this one.
Yeah.
So you
spill the beans.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Not the coffee beans. But I just want to start out, how long have you been working with Southern Tier, and where did you start brewing?
So with Southern Tier, I've been working for 5+ years now. It'll be 6 years in July. I kind of got my start back near my hometown, small town called Venango. If anybody listening has been ever, up there to Sprague Farm and Brew Works.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
You're talking to an Oil City boy in Adams.
There we go.
That's my old stomping grounds.
So I grew up in Edinburgh, which is about...
shit. Okay, all right.
which is about 10 miles from Venango. So that's some family friends kind of I got involved, when I was at Penn State University during the summers. It's kind of a summer job down at Sprague Farm and Brew Works, kind of helping keg beer, bartend, just kind of being a farmhand down there. It's a really cool brewery. It's really where I got my spark. You know, Brian and Minnie are definitely, you know, some of the nicest people out there. You know, I got to learn the process at a small scale. They grow their own hops and barley down there, which is pretty unique. So I was able to kind of see some estate beers kind of come to life, you know, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I was there for about 2 years, and then just wanted to kind of, I guess, scale it up. Just take the next step, and Southern Tier was the direction I went.
And did you start at Lakewood, or did you start here?
I started in Lakewood the summer of 2013. So
right on.
I actually was a shift brewer working the night shift, and
So we've been drinking your beer for quite some time now.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah, man.
Cool. So, and then when did you make the transfer down here?
So the original brewer, David Harry's, we opened that Charlotte brewery. We kind of mentioned. Got transferred there to head up those operations. I moved down here September 2017 to take over as head brewer here.
Oh, right on. And like you said, the coffee blonde we're drinking now was the first beer you brewed, so
Yep, yeah, that's correct.
it
Yeah.
was a good start.
So is it just you running the tanks, or are there others here helping you out?
Yeah, it's just I guess it's a one-man show. It's just me down here. And it's the same thing, I guess, in Cleveland too. That we just have a kind of these two pub brewers.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Now that you're part of the Southern Tier family, that also includes Victory and 6 Point. And how much access do you have to the entire portfolio? Like, could you brew a resin if you wanted to? Can you do you have the recipe to do it at home for yourself?
I could. I mean, I definitely. I guess I could say, you know, I guess full access. Us as brewers, we've all got to know each other. As far as 6 Point and the Victory brewers, we're all a phone call away from each other. You know, whether it's, you know, any help we need, any ideas, any like inspirations. If it's a full recipe, I'm sure, you know, the book's open both directions or all three directions there. So that's pretty neat, you know, about our company is we all kind of look out for each other. We help like any way we can. I actually spent a week over at Victory, you know, helping out in Parksburg just about 3 weeks ago. So
Right on, cool.
yeah.
I know that you've developed some recipes here. Do you have a pilot system here on site to help you develop the recipes, or how do you get those developed here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so I guess we're sitting in our pilot system here. We have it's just a 10 hectoliter brew house. It's going to produce about 8.5 barrels, you know, per batch.
Okay.
So yeah, just kind of got to trust, you know, like I guess the process, you know, trust, you know, what I know as a brewer. And I guess you still got to cross your fingers sometimes when you come with
You just got to jump in and know that you know what you're doing.
Exactly. So yeah, just kind of trust the process, and you got to, you know, get excited to see what comes from it.
So something I had for you, Justin. So do you have any, I guess, accolades or help that you could put out there to some folks that want to get in the beer scene? It's getting very, very, not necessarily saturated, but it's a competitive environment. So let's just say I'm a 30-year-old guy, home brewer. I want to get into the commercial side of things. Any help that you can toss out there? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if it's a true passion of yours, definitely go after it. You know, there's too many people I know that are sitting at their jobs. You're probably listening to this right now that don't want to be there. What I did to kind of like I guess progress myself and I guess separate myself and go the direction I wanted to go was I went to Siebel Institute in Chicago. It's a brewing academy. Like any schooling you can do, there's plenty of it out there. Will help you, especially when it comes to, you know, you're trying to scale up from that home brew to a commercial job. Like a lot of people, like a lot of employers will respect home brewers, but they also want some kind of formal education.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, like, that's one thing that's available online as well too for people. So
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for answering that, because I get posed that question all the time. I'm like, look, I'm in the industry, but I'm not doing what you're doing. I was like, so the help that I gave them, just go down, just friend your local brewery, like ask to talk to the brewer and just say, hey, is there anything, you know, I have questions on this, or is there anything I can help with? Like show that humility and get down there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of apprenticeships out there. I'm sure you could even get an assistant brewer job by just being persistent and willing and just kind of open with these guys. So yeah, there's definitely a few avenues out there. Boom.
I just add, I think, you know, especially for, you know, our listeners in Pennsylvania, we watched that movie Poured in PA, and they were talking about, I believe it's in the Lehigh Valley, that there's a program one of the colleges in that area. Yes. And I also think Penn State does something for brewer education. So
yeah, it's really cool to see the universities kind of starting to get on board with that.
Yeah.
Especially on the East Coast here.
Yeah.
Right. And you look at craft beer, the billions of dollars worth of dollars that are generated. You have to have that formal education because it's not a fly-by-night industry anymore.
It's no longer a handshake.
Right, exactly. It's much more formalized. It's much more commercial is a bad way to say it, but there's a lot bigger players involved now. So you have to have that formal education. You have to know what you're doing right off the hit.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm going to move over to Cassandra and learn,
She's like,
why don't you tell us about your history with craft beer and Southern Tier? You're kind of telling us off mic about what your favorite beer was and how you got into it. So why don't you tell us about that again everybody?
I was an adamant I don't drink beer girl for most of my adult life. I was a Jack girl because I think that the misconception of beer before you really kind of dive in is that all beer is what you think beer is. So all beer then becomes, I hate to say this, it's like Coors Light, Budweiser, whatever, and that's what you think all beer is.
That's fair.
So I was a corporate trainer for Buffalo Wild Wings, and one of my jobs was teaching beer. And I was like, well, I don't drink beer. And so one of my bosses pulled me aside and said, you don't drink beer. Try this beer. And it was actually Helltown Mischievous Brown Ale, which I think I've done many browns since, and it's still in my top 5. But that was the beer that got me drinking beer because I learned that beer could be something different than what I thought it was, which is why I'm very passionate about finding beers for folks, because I think that there is a beer out there for everybody. So I started beer that way. I redesigned how we trained people to talk about beers within the Buffalo Wild Wings system. And then I read an article on Twitter that Southern Tier was coming to Pittsburgh. And I was like, Warlock? So I was like, the chance to work for the Wizard? I'm in.
It's funny if you say that anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like people are looking at you like you're weird.
Yeah, I know. Right? What? Well, that was,
you're a wizard, Harry.
So I wrote this.
Find him.
Yeah, exactly. So I wrote this very impassioned cover letter, and like 2 days later, I got a call, and they were like, no, I got an email at 7 a.m. and it said, hey, do you want to schedule an interview? And I was like, sure, whenever. And I answered it right back because I was up drinking coffee or whatever. And he's like, how about right now? I was like, sure. I was like half a cup of coffee in, and I talked to our EVP, and he's like, I think you're right for Pittsburgh. So
that's awesome.
Came on board here. I have a slew of marketing experience from really a retail as well as digital marketing experience and having my own businesses prior to being a corporate trainer. So I brought a whole bunch of stuff to the table. So this has been quite an adventure for me. I've loved every part of getting to know more about beer. And I think that the fun really of this particular position for me is having people have that aha moment and having the patience to sit with somebody and say like, talk to me about what do you eat? What do you drink? And kind of really getting to know people on a different level and making that connection. And for me, I think beer brings people together. And I love the way that it does that in sort of a very just basic level. Like we don't maybe have much in common otherwise, but we vibe on beer, and that makes you cool with me. So that's kind of how I got here. So I've done a little bit of everything. Currently, I do all of our special events. Our outside events, and I have a marketing function within the 4 walls here.
That's awesome.
Awesome. It's also nice to hear that your interview process went rather quickly as compared to the one that we talked about last week that lasted 5 months and didn't end in a job.
Right.
Yeah, that would be like. That'd be kind of, I don't know. I think that, and one of the things that we did too when we hired our initial staff here is like, they gotta feel right?
Yeah.
So like, if they just feel like, if it feels good and you just do it. Like, I was super stoked because I met Justin when I went up to Lakewood right after we got hired, and Justin and I were kind of friends before he came down here, and I was sad to see David go, and I was like, Justin's coming? Yeah, like that's gonna be great for Pittsburgh. And You know, I think there are things that Justin won't tell you, but one of the things that I love about Justin being our head brewer now is that he's very accessible. And like, if we have guests that are struggling or guests that have questions or people that want to see the brew house or hear about what he does, like, he's always willing to go the extra mile and like kind of reach, you know, like talk to folks. And when we release a new beer, Justin's always available for a couple hours and he's working the room and he's working the bar and he's like, hey, I'm Justin. I brewed the beer, you know? That's awesome. And you can't, in a size, like in a company the size of Southern Tier, what people deem the size, it's nice to know that like, not only does Justin make amazing beers, but he's a good human and he likes people, you know? So I feel like it's a home run for us here.
Yeah.
So
that's also got to help you out, though, Justin, with like you go around and you talk to everybody, and when you release that beer initially, you can get good feedback by talking to people.
It is, yeah. Like it's all good feedback. And I think it's important, you know. Like that's basically why I do it. You know, making beer for the people. It's you know, kind of getting that initial feedback. You know, kind of making people feel a part of this place.
Mm-hmm.
People get excited for our beer releases. You know, there's people I've gotten to know because, you know, they're showing up again, you know, and here again, they're excited about it. So that kind of fuels me as a brewer is to kind of see, you know, I guess I can call them fans almost, like that.
Yeah, fans, repeat customers, yeah, all
customers.
Of that, yeah.
It's just really cool. It's just cool that it can get to that level, and you know, I think it's always good to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, it's very easy to say craft beer fans and social media fans because you get people talking about other breweries like Trillium and Treehouse and things like that.
Yeah.
So like, obviously, every brewery is going to have some fans of some sort that just keep coming back and talking about the beer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I believe they refer to those as regulars.
Regulars.
Yes.
Yeah.
it was funny because when we opened, we were like, how are we going to have regulars down here? Like, this is not a destination. Like, this is a destination. This isn't like a local, you know, you wouldn't think like you're going to have like walk-up traffic every day. But we literally have, there's 10 or 20 people that are in here several times a week. And we definitely have our regulars. And it's nice. It's nice to see that even a destination brewery can have that as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we appreciate everybody that comes through the doors, but I think that the folks feel comfortable enough coming here almost on a daily basis, some of them. I think that's pretty awesome.
And this is, like you said, kind of a destination brewery. This is definitely a great jumping off point for just the North Shore in general. Anymore, the last couple of years, anytime anything has happened for me and my group of friends, it always starts out, we'll just meet at Southern Tier.
Right.
Go there, have a beer, you know, chat for 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe have another beer, and then go wherever it is that we're going to go. If it's a ball game or a football game or go to the casino or whatever it may be. But this is the jumping off point.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the cool things that we did too, and our relationship with War Streets and Allegheny City, which are two of our closest neighbors, you know, and they're both, Al and Jake are both amazing brewers and really good humans. And, you know, we talked about in January, February, like, what could we do to, you know, like, we're all kind of like Januaries and Februaries, like, who's going out on a Friday night? So we did our own little mini Northside tour. So we came up with this little postcard, and if you came to all three spots in one night and you bought anything, it didn't matter if you bought you came in here and get a keychain, you got the Southern Tier stamp, then you can move on. And whatever brewery you landed at, you got a T-shirt for completing the Northside tour.
Oh, right on.
So it was kind of cool. Like, we did our little mini tour within the Brewers Guild tour, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that was super successful. I mean, it was just super successful, and it was the three of us sitting at a table one day going, like, let's do something. Like, what do you want to do? Like, let's all share people. Like, it doesn't matter where they start. It doesn't matter where they finish. And I think that's what I think that's what I'm going to speak for Justin here. I think that's what we both love about this. Like, I know that Justin has called Jake and been like, do you have a wrench? You know, like, I'm missing this valve. Like, and I know Jake's been down here to, like, you know, like, I think that collaboration, like, when they're that close, I know, like, for Al, we ran out of growler caps. Doesn't sound like a big deal. Not having growler caps is a big deal. So I knew that they had the same vessel, so I called him on a Sunday. It was like 3 o'clock. I'm like, I'm out of growler caps. Can I come get some? He's like, how many do you need? You know, like, so that's the collaborative spirit that I think that we love about our neighbors and about being a part of this community.
Yeah, I think it stretches, you know, even farther. Yeah, the whole city, the guild.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Members. I think we all have the same attitude about it. You know, we're all kind of in it together. We all want to see good beer made. We all want to help each other. So
and that's what we've run into talking to all sorts of breweries, different brewers, and things like that. Everybody's in this together.
Brewers are good dudes. They're just good dudes, like across the board, and dudettes.
Yeah.
There's a couple dudettes out there,
Yeah,
too.
don't forget Meg Evans. And
Don't forget the dudettes. No, and she's great.
Yeah,
she's phenomenal. So, not to leave her out.
Yeah. And we've heard, like Adam said, we've heard it time and time again. It was like, I think somebody just like busted a glycol line not too long ago, and, they had to reach out for glycol for,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Facebook was lit up within 20 minutes. People are offering up anything that they needed.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely something we hear time and time again.
So now you guys are all down to, more than halfway through your glass.
Yeah.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so what are we thinking now? And we're done.
And Dennis
There's
is
a
done.
winner.
Dennis
There's
is
a
first
winner.
one done.
I'm curious now. What do you think?
I love coffee, so this was already a win for me. Like I said earlier, you get that fresh bouquet of coffee beans on the nose, which is really inviting. But as you drink through it, you get some coffee up front. Then it evolves into this really, really tasty, crisp blonde ale, and it finishes that way. So every sip that you take of it, just at the end of it, it just invites you back for more. I can drink this all day.
I concur.
Same.
Wow.
No, this beer is it's a slam dunk. If and when it's on tap, I'm gonna get it.
Well, I mean, it's on tap a lot, and I can see why.
Right, exactly.
But, yeah, this is definitely kind of a start the night out type of beer. I especially see it more towards late summer, early fall. Moving into when beers start getting really, really dark.
Yeah.
That's my time. Yeah. I would start with this. My time. My time.
So this is just you guys' recipe here, right? Out
Correct.
on North Shore?
Yep.
So is this canned, bottled? Got to come down and see you to get it.
Yeah, for now, yeah.
I like it.
We'll see where it goes. But yeah, for now we got to get on the North Shore. So
Cool.
A reason to
10 minutes
visit.
away from me, so
That's an easy
I'm
sell.
winning. I'm winning.
We do have growlers and crowlers available, so you can do
Sure, yeah,
you can
you
do
can-
it.
Right on. So you can have some take home.
you got to
Nice.
stop in and
We
see
can
us
do a take
first.
home.
I probably will.
Awesome. Well, I think we're ready to wrap up segment 2, and we'll come back with segment 3, and it's going to be a quiz.
Uh-oh.
Yep. And it's going to pit Team Hop Nation
I'm nervous.
against Team Southern Tier.
Oh,
I'm
it's already
Are you
over.
the facilitator, Steve?
I'm the
already
facilitator.
Oh, man. These questions are
maybe
so
not.
hard, but if you get it right, you feel so good about yourself. Trust me. This helps my confidence every time I do a show.
That's why we give you the easy ones.
Wait, okay, so is it okay? I'm going to go give them shots of corn whiskey before we do that.
Do whatever
Am I
you need
stacking
to.
the deck if I do that?
Whatever you need to.
Hey, don't tease me with a good time. We'll figure this out.
Steve's driving back, so I don't care.
If you got to give them a bomber of the Manhattan or the Sapsquatch, you go right ahead.
We can do that. I got it.
All right, we'll be right back with segment 3.
Hey everyone, my name is Drew, and I host a podcast called Dudes with Brews on a Porch, where we let the drinks flow and the conversations go. Each and every week, me and a friend of mine, we sit down, we try a different craft brew, usually from the state of Wisconsin, and we just sit down and have a conversation. We talk about all aspects of life. Once a month, we talk about paranormal stuff, and we always have a good time. You can find our show, Dudes with Brews on a Porch, on iTunes, Google Play, and anywhere else you find your podcasts. Grab a cold one and hang out with us each and every week right here on the porch.
Welcome back to segment 3 of episode 109 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. We're still here with Adam, Dennis, Cassandra, and Justin, and we're ready to play a little game. But first, our third beer. And we'll let Cassandra talk about this one because she seems to like it a bunch.
I do. I love it. So we're drinking our Nitro S'mores. This is new to our collection this year. It's one of our Blackwater beers, of course. It's one of the dessert beers. When you think of Southern Tier, I think you think about IPAs, and I think you think about dessert beers, outside of pumpkin, of course. So with S'mores, we're looking at a 10% ABV. I think the IBUs are negligible in this one.
IBUs probably don't matter.
You don't really get any.
I can already tell I'm going to like this beer.
Right. No, this is totally going to be your jam, 100%. So what I love about this beer, I love two things about this beer. First of all, I love that this beer grew as a national brand out of a collaboration that Justin did. And we did a collaboration with two breweries. Who did you do that with?
Did it with Hitchhiker and Rivertown.
Oh, right.
Right on.
So
Okay.
this was
For the Brewers Guild launch, right?
Yep, it was. I guess the guild got together.
Yeah.
Like as a whole, we split up in I think the 10 teams.
Yeah, for the event launch that was
Yeah.
at Nova Place.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So we focus on like the pastry stout, dessert beer. We went with the s'mores.
Hitchhiker and Southern Tier together. Yeah, that makes sense.
We actually use Pop-Tarts in the beer.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
man, that
Fun
smells
fact.
so good.
S'mores Pop Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah,
S'mores
You
Pop-Tarts.
know, like those guys at Hitchhiker, they brew with cereal. They're always
Right.
doing some really
man,
fun.
They do crazy good,
stuff.
tasty
Right.
stuff.
Right.
So Pop Tarts for them wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
No.
You guys are like, whoa, sit down. I have this idea. They're like,
Okay, rookie.
we put antelope in our beer. Fresh antelope.
Pop Tarts is a Tuesday.
Right, exactly. So we got great feedback from that event, and everybody kept on we ran out of beer super quick at that event, and everybody's like, hands down favorite. And then we got a couple half barrels of it, and it was gone in 3 days.
Wow.
Crazy. It was nuts. And so Justin introduced it to the team, and we now have s'mores. And so what I love about this beer, I'll just tell you guys, and you can see if you have the same experience. It's our first beer on Nitro. It's the first ever that Southern Tier has done on Nitro. Awesome. What I love about this beer is I think that it's perfectly balanced. I think most of our dessert beers need to sit and come up to temp a little bit before you get all of the notes. I think this one, you get subtle graham cracker, you get subtle marshmallow, and you get subtle chocolate the entire drink from the first sip to the last sip. And one doesn't grow or outshine or outpower the other. So can you tell I'm a stout girl? I'm sorry. I haven't chimed in about any beer. I'm like, All right. So I invite you all. Let's raise our glass and see what you think of s'mores.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. So yeah, I can definitely say the one thing I did notice is it's definitely a Nitro because it had that beautiful cascade.
Yes, it did.
It did.
Yeah.
Very picturesque.
Right. So it definitely achieves all that. Yeah.
The other thing, it does have that very nice thick head. It's still sitting there, looking good.
It's nice and foamy, nice tight bubbles.
I'm not even gonna lie. I am salivating, and it is so hard for me to work through the process of looking, smelling. I just literally pulled this glass out of my mouth. I couldn't stop.
I'll tell you what, my mouth watered a bit smelling it because you do smell everything on there. So here we go.
You just want to skip everything and drink it? Great.
Just drink it, boys. It's dark in color. It has a nice head. It has a nice lace on the glass. It does all the right things.
I think the only thing we're missing here is just a nice campfire.
Oh my God! All three of your eyes rolled to the back of your head. I think that's a good sign.
I literally saw what I was thinking. Yeah. That's how hard my eyes rolled back.
That's really good.
Yeah. So I would say
No way. There's no way this is real life.
I am now in a conflict.
Uh-oh.
Because,
Bum, bum, bum.
well, two of my favorite beers from Southern Tier are the Thick Mint and the Creme Brulee. Also part of the Blackwater Series, also very heavy dessert beers. Now this one has to come along and I have to rejudge everything. I have to drink them all again. I just can't tell.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Literally.
But no, what Cassandra said is exactly right. Like you get a taste of everything in there. Nothing outshines another one. And it is just that thick, velvety s'more that if you're not near a campfire, you should find one or start one. And I'm going to try not to because we're indoors
Right, I was
right
going to
now.
say, please do
I don't
that
think
outside.
Justin wants to set fire in the brew house. That could tamper operations a little.
Hey guys, it's hot in here. Why? Steve, no! No, but seriously, as far as, if you have like a top 5, top 10 favorite beer list, this is going to make you rethink that list.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you had anything from the Blackwater Series. Like, if you're a fan of that to begin with, I don't think I've ever had a bad one from that. But now this is just another good one, but it's a really, really, really good one.
The thing is, I feel that it might sound like we're overblowing this a little bit. We're not. We're not. This is really, really good.
No, we're not. Check my Untapped scores. The Creme Brulee is at the very top of mine, and now this is close. So,
And if you listen to the last episode, we don't sugarcoat anything.
no, absolutely no. I mean, there's a couple episodes you could listen to that you hear some real bad shit. So, but yeah, no,
I am a fan of the creme brulee as well, but this isn't as sweet.
Right.
So if
No,
you
it's
like
not,
your beer
no.
not to be as sweet but
Right.
subtle flavor, this is where I think it surpasses creme brulee. Because to me, creme brulee is a touch too sweet.
yeah, I think a
it's
lot
just
of people
like,
would
it's
say
just
that. Yeah,
like a touch too
Right.
sweet.
You can't have multiple.
You can't have multiple. Like
Yeah.
that's your dessert beer. Like you're
Right.
drinking. Like for creme brulee, for most people, it's one and done. Not just because it's 10%, but because it's to end the night on.
That
Yeah, yeah.
much.
Like,
yeah.
I may have been known to sit at the bar for several hours drinking several of these. Like this is a beer that you can drink because I don't. I think what's reminiscent of some other dark beers that are on Nitro, which I won't name. I don't feel like this has a heavy mouthfeel, and I don't feel like this makes me full.
Right.
right. Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to drink a couple of them to get to where I'm at, but trust me on this.
Challenge accepted.
I can drink several of these and not feel like I've had several 10%.
Yeah, it's not a bomb.
It's not a bomb.
Like it doesn't feel like a gut bomb while you're drinking it.
You're
I
not
haven't.
chewing on it.
Right. Yeah. But yeah,
Is that
it's-
just me? Do you guys have that same?
No,
like,
I totally
like,
agree.
Try the mouthful thing and see
Yeah.
what you think. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I think
So if it's
like
just
I
me.
feel like it's full, but it's not. Yeah, like you said, it's not like a syrup. You know,
No, it's
yeah.
not syrupy at
Yeah.
all.
Velvety is a good word.
Velvet.
Yeah, and I think the nitro is what's helping that along. Is what makes it a lot smoother. So yeah.
The first experience that really pops into my mind. So go and stay with me on this.
Okay.
Go to any high-end mattress store
Okay.
in your small town. Once you walk in, the first thing those salesmen are going to do is take you to the $10,000 crazy space foam bed. But when you lay on that bed, it's smooth. You're soaking in memory foam.
You
It's
sink
like you've
into
been
it.
there before.
Yeah.
That's what my lips feel when they come into contact with this beer. This is organic. I ain't making this up. This is tasty.
You're saying your tongue has sunk into it.
Not my tongue, like 33% of my face.
Okay.
Yeah, so speaking on Nitro, you guys may or may not know this. Our Blackwater series is moving towards Nitro, so anything
really?
Blackwater
Okay.
is going to be Nitro from here on out.
I did see like I think the next one that's supposed to come out is the chocolate milkshake.
Yep.
Is
Yep,
like
it's gonna
what's
be a-
next up, but yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that it was all moving that way.
Yep, that's the plan for now, is to continue on the Nitro with our Blackwater. So
So I guess I really do have to retry them all again.
Yep.
there you go.
Oh, darn.
Oh nuts.
This is a new game. They are rewriting the rules.
And speaking of games,
Haha, thank you, Adam. What a great segue. So yes, as Adam said, we are going to play a game, and I have a little quiz devised, and we're going to split into teams. It's going to be Adam and Dennis representing Team Hop
Yes.
Nation versus Justin and Cassandra representing Team Southern Tier. The theme of this quiz is all based upon the Blackwater Series. As you may or may not know, the Blackwater Series is a series of dessert beers that are of all kinds of different flavors. We talk creme brulee, but there's also thick mint, that mimics the Girl Scout cookie thin mint. And then there's cherry cordial that mimics the Valentine's Day gift. So yeah, that's what we're going to be focusing on. But don't expect your knowledge of the Blackwater Series to help you out.
Yep, and that's any game with Steve. Where you think you know, but you don't.
It's
Questioning my life right
it's
now.
only mildly related. So I'll give Team Southern Tier the chance to. Do you want to go first or defer?
Yeah,
We'll go
let's,
first.
let's hear it.
All right. Well, we have 6 questions, and I'll start with Team Southern Tier. And at the end of the 6 questions, if you're tied, we'll go to a tiebreaker. But these 6 questions simply go like this. I'll give you a question. There is a multiple choice. If you try to get the question without getting multiple choice, you get 2 points. And if you get it with multiple choice, you get 1 point. If you miss, the other team will have a chance to steal.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
we'll start with the first question. One of the first recipes for s'mores appears in a 1920s campfire marshmallows cookbook full of 150 recipes. What is not a section in that book?
What is not a section?
Yeah, so cookbooks are divided into sections. What would not be a section? You can take a guess, or you can go to multiple choice. If you guess and get it wrong, it'll go to the other team.
What is not a section in the cookbook?
Yeah, what is not a section in the Campfire Marshmallows 150 marshmallow recipes?
Welcome to Questions with Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to get our choices here.
Okay, so your choices are A, salads, B, soups, C, vegetables, or D, sandwiches. What is not a section in the Marshmallow Campfire Cookbook?
So the name of the cookbook, can I ask a clarifying question, please?
Yes.
The name of the cookbook is Campfire Recipes.
It's Campfire Marshmallows 150 recipes, so it's Campfire is the brand.
Oh, Campfire is the brand.
Right.
Okay, let's
Dennis, I'm sorry you can't impose a
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go with A, salads.
A salads, and that is incorrect.
It's gotta be
It
soup.
couldn't have been
Gotta
that
be
easy.
soups, baby.
Gotta be soup.
You ain't eating no marshmallow soups.
We're jumping in on soups.
because marshmallow instead of soup would absorb more liquid, therefore be more of a solid. And
At that point, you just cut it apart. Right.
You guys don't have to explain it. Yes, it's soups.
All right.
Wait, you went with soups first, right?
Wait, you're eating marshmallow salad though? Like, I don't get the reasoning here. Okay.
I don't know how.
In the 1920s,
Okay.
everything was a salad,
Well,
and it was just
to be fair, how else do you eat your salads? I have to have something sweet in there.
they basically just put marshmallows and oranges and pecans together. That's a salad.
Oh.
It's really lazy.
They did get really silly back then.
Okay.
All right.
We're okay
Now
with
we have how the game is played.
Yeah,
right?
we're
Yeah.
okay with
We're good now.
Yeah, we're okay with just missing one. Okay.
S'mores, of course, fell under the sandwiches category.
Of course. Of course.
Goodness.
All right, Team Hop Nation, this is your question. Salted caramel has scientifically proven to be addictive because our brains release opioid-like chemicals when we eat something. That is A, sweet, B, salty, C, fatty, or D, all of the above.
Why our brain has that chemical reaction, right? That's what we're choosing. What
what
causes
you're-
that reaction?
Yeah, because our brains, release an opioid when we eat something that's A, sweet, B, salty, C, fatty, or D, all the above. What causes that opioid release?
D, all the above.
It's either, all the above.
Yeah, D, all the above.
And that's correct.
I feel like we're at a disadvantage because any woman who PMSs knows that D's the answer. I wouldn't have even had to take the
That's a
ABCD.
multi-level.
I could have just told you that. Damn it.
Justin was like, "Don't say it, bro. Don't do it." You're saying it? You're doing this? All right.
Are you going there? Yes, I'm going there. Would you like an equivalent question,
Yep.
please?
Oh, trust me. I actually have a that time of the month survival kit at home for the wife. No. You laugh, but it's a scavenger hunt for Reese cups. Because I know that time's coming, and I hide sweets over the house, and I give her hints, and I'm like, go and be happy.
Is that kind of like
This is why you're lovable.
Elf on a Shelf, but every month?
Yes.
Yes.
Elf on a Shelf, but peanut butter cups. Not bad.
But that allows me to drink this wonderful beer and maybe get in an hour or two of Xbox.
Do what you got to do, brother.
Yep, that's it.
Do what you got to do.
All right, question 3 for Team Southern Tier. Which city was the first to sell commercially baked Girl Scout cookies?
You were a brownie. You were a brownie.
Did we just guess the city?
State or city?
City.
Do you want to go for it, or do you want to get the multiple choice?
If you go for it,
We're down
you
2-0.
get 2 points.
Yeah, we're down 2-0, right?
We're down.
Yeah,
to
you're
nothing.
down 2-0, correct? Yeah. So if you go for it, you get 2 points if you get it correct.
It's a good
Do
guess.
Let's do it.
We're just going with Chicago.
Sorry, that's incorrect.
Oh man, you guys are so brave.
She wrote down a state. She was so confident.
I was so confident.
We
in
picked
the
a
state.
state. No. All right.
All right.
We'll hand it over.
They're going to multiple choice it anyway.
Can we hear her? Yeah, oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
Here's, not that I have a better guess. It's just they went out on a limb, Adam.
They went all the way out.
We'll go
Yeah.
tap. I'm all right with
We
that.
wish you guys
I mean,
did
you guys
that.
are 2
Respect.
ahead. Why do you, yeah.
It could be this 10%er. Push it.
I can get you more. Let's just say,
Super
if,
confident
yes.
Dennis.
if you might want to
Yes.
throw the game, there might be some s'mores in it for you.
Oh, hey, I'm a dirty dog. I'll make this work.
He'll sell you out real quick, Adam.
Can we get a reread of the question? Let's hear this again.
Yes, what was the
Okay.
question again, please?
So the reread of the question is, which city was the first to sell commercially baked Girl Scout cookies?
That's the key.
Can we get a decade of when it came out?
No.
Damn it. New York City.
I'm going to say Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
No, we're going
right.
New York City.
Okay, New York City is also incorrect.
If it's
Is Cleveland correct?
No.
Of course
You were
not.
so confident, but
Felt good.
it did feel good. Cleveland should never feel good.
Actually,
Sports-wise, everything else, I love Cleveland.
whatever.
And he sticks to
No, I
landing.
love the food.
Yeah.
Love the food.
Well, Melt is pretty damn good.
It
so,
is pretty
yeah.
swank.
The correct answer though is Philadelphia.
Oh.
I never would have thought about that.
I never would have either.
Yeah, they originally sold commercially baked cookies in 1934, and then it was the next year that New York picked it up.
Just out of curiosity, what were the 4 multiple choice answers?
The 4 choices were New York, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Muskogee, Oklahoma,
Damn.
which is
Just
where
trying to throw you.
So we still had a chance of being wrong because we did
Oh, yeah.
guess New York.
I
you would have said New York.
I'd have gone
I think
with
we would have went that
Muskogee.
way.
No, you wouldn't.
No, stop.
An Ogie from Muskogee? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's true. He has a point.
all right. Question 4, Team Hop Nation. Cherry cordials are a popular Valentine's Day gift. They're derived from cherries being soaked in alcohol known as a cordial. What was the original use of a cordial?
I have no clue.
I have no clue. We got to go for the one.
I am not that. I feel like that's a romantic thing, and I am not romantic.
That ain't me.
That ain't me.
So you want your choices.
We want all the options.
All right. A, heart medicine. B, skin ointment. C, a gout cure. Or D, a hemorrhoid de-inflamer.
Holy hell. Definitely not gout cure because alcohol actually inflames gout. So
okay.
that's definitely out.
Okay.
I'm not going with hemorrhoids because I feel like
weird.
no one would ever admitted to that.
Agreed.
So it's either A or B. Can we get A or B again?
A heart medicine. Or a
Heart
skin-
medicine because alcohol actually thins your blood is the route I would go.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, A, heart medicine.
You are correct.
Holy shit. Nicely done.
Anything I can relate back to physics.
Fun fact: cherries are good for gout.
Oh, yeah, tart cherry extract is.
That's-
But that would be a weird combination of a trigger plus a treatment.
Right. Well,
Right, but
that's
he
why.
said cordial. He didn't
The
have
cordial
cherry
is soaked
cordial.
in
Yeah. So the original cordials were just alcohol that
Yes.
were taken, and cor, the Latin root means heart. And
Oh, damn, I didn't know
so
that.
it was all taken because it was supposed to, raise your heart rate and help circulation.
Damn.
Like you were saying, it thins
Yeah.
your blood. So yeah.
Hey, man,
I just
I'm
wanna
on
say-
it this game.
You are
I
having
just
a
want to
banner
interject
day.
at this part of the game that Justin and I are relieved that we only have to do this once and feel very sorry for you boys that you have to do this
We do it
every time you do
all
a
the time.
podcast.
But, it
Not
keeps
every
me sharp.
time, but a lot of times.
To be
This-
fair, like,
This I get it now. I was nervous and rightly
it's
so.
a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing. Every month, honestly, I train all month. Like, I just watch informational videos.
Watch
You
that
never know
Jeopardy.
what Steve's going to throw out.
Get on,
All right.
get on Wikipedia at 3 a.m. like I do.
All right, Steve, do we have any left or did we just
Oh, we got two.
lose?
We got two more
Okay,
questions.
good.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got two
okay.
more questions.
All
You
right.
have a chance. You still have a chance to win.
No, we don't, but okay.
Yeah.
You're nice. Go ahead.
So, Terry's Chocolate Orange is one of the more famous English candies that we get over here in the U.S. after the Cadbury egg, which is not a discontinued flavor
Of what the Cadbury egg.
of the Terry's Chocolate Orange.
That's that foil one, like wrapped in
Yeah,
foil and all
yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one also kind of depends just on the choices.
Yeah.
So like
we're
the
gonna
one
have
I
to
gave
take
to
the
you
choices.
guys.
You
So,
guys already learned that lesson.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
We're
ever-
taking the choices.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So-
We're doing a 2-point swing, but we'll take the choices. There.
Yeah, I would have no idea.
Sometimes it's best to lay up. I've learned that the hard
I
way.
mean, like, I at least know what
Yeah.
a city is. I can answer
Right.
cities. Yeah.
So your choices are: A is for apple, B is for lemon, C is for raspberry, and D is for mint, which is not a discontinued flavor of the
Apple,
cherries,
lemon.
raspberry, and mint.
Which is not
Yeah,
discontinued one?
right.
I mean, 3 out of the 4 are done.
That means 3 out of the 4 are discontinued,
I know
no
which one
longer
I would
around.
choose, but I'm not going to say it yet.
I know which one it is.
Terry's
Right.
chocolate. May I
We're on
ask
the
a
same
clarifying
page.
question because I've never heard of Terry's chocolate, please?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Are all of these paired with chocolate, or are these flavors on their own?
So Terry's Chocolate Orange was originally it's a basically a ball of chocolate that's shaped like an orange, and it comes in a foil, and then you can split it apart, and it's like orange slices. All the other flavors I mentioned, they're not orange, but they're still in the ball and orange slice. It's just silliness.
Typically around holidays.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah, it's a real Christmas. It's a real Christmas holiday. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna phone a friend here.
Okay.
No, I'm fine.
Call out
He
to the
was
bartender.
open to that. So if you
like,
call
okay.
someone right now, I feel like Steve would
I
allow
think
it.
you would.
If you had somebody at the bar on the line, I would have let it go. I don't care.
Oh, yeah,
It's Team Southern Tier. That's the whole team.
You have an entire
ask
bar
the
and
audience.
restaurant available to
Finn?
you.
Do you want
guys
to try
have
calling
households
Finn?
do it. This is so awesome.
What would happen if we called Finn right now and asked him?
You should put Mike in.
But,
No, he wouldn't know.
we got to do. We're going with mint. Mint is the only one that's still around. We're saying.
Mint is the only one that's still around. Unfortunately, that's incorrect.
Oh, we
Team
go
Hop Nation.
1, 2, 3. Raspberry.
And you guys have got the point.
Well, that wasn't on our radar either because I was looking at lemon or apple. So
We both looked at each other. We're like raspberry.
fine.
So Apple actually preceded the chocolate orange and was discontinued, I think, in the 50s. Lemon was the 70s and 80s, and mint discontinued in 2012.
Why would anybody think that chocolate and apple would go well together?
And just so you guys know, we're not normally this good. You
They really
should have
aren't.
seen us, Like
They
Jared
really aren't.
last episode,
I'm
it
going
was
to
like
say
the-
it's the s'mores.
yeah,
It's the hope of
s'mores.
getting more s'mores. It's fine.
The window is open.
It has omega-3s, which is good for brain health.
You gave these boys brain juice, and they're all full of desserts now, and they're thinking desserts.
What would 2 do? We're solving world hunger.
All right, give us one we can answer, brother.
Well, it's
Come on,
actually,
Steve.
well, I
Oh,
mean,
it's
it's
their
their
question.
No,
third
you know
question,
what?
but
We'll just give ours.
you want to defer?
We'll defer.
All right.
Triple or nothing.
All right, triple or nothing on this one.
We'll
So
make
that
it fancy.
Making a
Hey,
fan.
I'm
Well,
just
I
waiting
mean-
for a second one. I'm trying to
I
throw
know,
this game.
your glasses. I just want to point out your glass is empty, and he is working for a second.
all right, I'll say this one's worth 4 points.
Ooh, snap.
4 points because you guys have 4 points. So
Oh, and then
we
that will
are,
bring
so
us
we
to
can
the
tie.
and,
tiebreaker.
take it to the tiebreaker.
And it's
That's it, we
4
gotta take
points
this seriously.
with giving the options, not just guessing. 4
Right,
points either.
right.
We're taking it serious.
Yeah, I know.
So, your question for 4 points, and it doesn't matter if you go multiple choice, it'll still be worth 4 points. What year were Samoas added to the portfolio of Girl Scout cookies?
Oh, damn.
Oh, I wish I would have stayed in brownies.
You need at least 3 weeks in brownies to get that.
Ah,
You got to.
dude, so out.
Yeah, we need some options.
Yeah, I'll give you your options since it doesn't matter which way. A, 1991, B, 1975, C, 1964, or D, 1948.
I eat them. I like them.
Oh, I
I
love
don't
them.
remember when you were a kid. Did you have
I
Samoa?
never went.
Yeah. I mean,
You had Samoa when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You indoctrinated
But
into
I
the
don't know if we
cookie
had Samoa when I was a kid.
That's never happened.
Cassandra circled one. I'm kind of nodding my head. I think we have an answer.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to go with 75.
And for 4 points, Team Southern Tier ties it up.
Yes! You guys are awesome. Let's get a good contact. This guy. You know,
Ironically, that's when I left the brownies.
I was going to ask you, so I personally didn't have a bookmark for any clue, but I was going to say, did you know about that when you were in brownies? If the answer
I
was
remember
yes,
Samoa being around when I was
it
a
has
kid.
to have been,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Can,
Oh my
can
God,
I
I'm
just throw
aging
out
myself here.
that whenever we celebrated that answer, everybody in the bar looked at us.
well, behind
did
the
they
glass
not know
of
it
the
was
brew house,
75?
we're kind of like you know, animals in the zoo right now. Anyway,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like,
On
what are they
exhibit.
doing? What are they doing?
Or
We're on
yeah,
exhibit.
are they on exhibit?
Like
right?
5 Harambe's just
Right.
hanging out. Hey, don't let no
Justin.
kids fall in here. Kids at a brewery, they fall in here, they get drugged.
I think everybody's just wondering, it's like, can we go in and have fun?
How do you get in there?
Yeah. They're drinking in. And
And the door's a push, by the way. I keep pulling on doors, not opening. So that's the first deterrent.
all right, well,
Adam,
with
if we lose, it's total hubris that
Yeah.
brings us down.
yeah, it's
No, that's
hubris
fine.
because you guys said it was okay for them to have 4 points in last.
We did it to ourselves.
Did it to yourself.
That damn stout, man.
Welcome to 10%.
It's so tasty.
So with that, we are on to our tiebreaker question, and that means it's going to be with a wager question.
Ooh.
Yes.
All of them.
All of them.
Well, not. I mean, not wager your points, but it's just guessing the number closest to the
Oh,
number.
that one.
Yeah, closest to the number. That's what I mean.
Like Lion Guess 2300
So try-
last
yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Traveling back to 1933, when they were
Hold on, Steve. It's going to get all wavy. Ooh.
I know, you got to do the wave.
glass line
Time
tanks of
machine.
old Latrobe.
Time machine.
I'll put the post-production in. I'll do it. But traveling back to 1933, when they were selling Girl Scout cookies in Philadelphia, I want you to tell me how much were 6 boxes of Girl Scout cookies?
In terms of American dollars?
Yes, in terms of American dollars. Where else would they be?
Oh, it could have been a hit market in Mexico.
Listen,
See, they could
I'm
have had distribution.
I'm talking about Philadelphia. This is Philadelphia where they sold the cookies. How much were the cookies
I'm
in
rocking
Philadelphia?
I'm rocking a 10% stout right now. So
Don't be giving me lira. Don't be giving me...
Leroy Jenkins answers.
Yeah.
So 1933, Philadelphia.
6 boxes.
6 boxes of Girl Scout cookies in
Price
1933.
changes was obviously a thing. So think of the value of $1 then. I'm going to go with 1933.
1933.
30 cents.
30 cents
30
for 6
cents?
boxes?
I disagree.
Dude, you get a freaking cheeseburger for a nickel or a quarter. I don't know. Wasn't alive.
One of them silver ones.
Team Hop
You're
Nation
telling
seems to
me.
have an argument. Does
But
Team
you're
Southern
telling
Tier
me.
have an actual answer?
Yes, we're gonna go. Are you gonna take their 30
It's
cents?
a dollar.
Is this like
I'm not taking their 30 cents.
Is this like a 1 cent thing where we
No.
can like $1?
No, you can't price is right.
One
It-
thing.
if you go over,
1933.
it's fine.
It was
It's just
half
closest
the price of what
to.
it is today.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'll wait. Nothing was half
Yeah.
the price. It was
Cassandra, go
all.
ahead.
I think we're gonna go with 60 cents.
I don't know what that is.
60 cents?
60 cents.
Okay.
6-0.
What is it today?
Do some
Team Hop Nation.
It is not. It's $1 or less.
You're saying $1.
What'd you guys guess?
I'm not telling you. You have to figure this
You
out.
want to go
Damn it.
$1.05?
You guys took too much time arguing.
You willing to compromise on $1.05?
Adam, I'm telling you, 50 cents.
You're going 50 cents?
50 cents.
This is on you, bud.
1933.
This is on you.
Put it on me.
Your shoulders.
All right. 50
Speaking of the
cents.
mic.
50 cents.
All right, so Team Hop Nation, their bid is 50 cents for 6 boxes
Oh, it
of.
was 6 boxes.
Are you serious?
I thought it was per box.
It's been locked in. It's too
It's
late.
been locked in. It's too late.
Their bid is 50 cents for 6 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. Team Southern Tier has locked in the bid of 60 cents. You didn't hear.
How much different? Yeah.
Jeez, I heard nothing.
The price for 6 boxes of Girl Scout cookies in Philadelphia in 1933 is $1.24.
Oh, shit.
We win.
Meaning,
They win.
closest.
But the real winner is me because I get a second one of that stuff. Through the game, pretended like I didn't know it was 6 boxes. I didn't know, Adam.
The power of beer right there. The power of beer prevails.
That's the 10%ers.
Dude, that was
Coming from behind, Team Southern Tier has again shown that Team Hop Nation is very
so
bad
it was
with
a,
games.
Steve, it was $1 what?
$1.24 for 6
Can you
boxes.
divide that by 6 for me real quick?
No, it's like 23 cents
Yeah.
for.
Okay, I did
Yeah.
say it was less than 50%.
Yeah.
50 cents when I thought it was a per box.
Because I thought in 33 it would be about 10 cents a box. Because right now I think you pay $3.49.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was guessing like in 33 it would be like 10 cents a box.
If you were better at fractions, Adam, I said half of anything.
But
for
actually
that.
that's more
I would've-
expensive than
okay,
I
that's true.
thought. Like that's actually they made a pretty good margin in 33 then.
Yeah.
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 Like for $1 for 6, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
Yeah. Look at us. Girl Scouts have always had the economics down.
They
little
just
bit of a
look for a
rat.
lot of like big guys, and they're like, you.
You want a dozen boxes, don't you?
But I wonder how many were in a box, and I wonder what the ingredients were back then, because they probably were
Yeah.
bomb.
Not too many synthetic
Yeah,
ingredients.
no,
back
it
then,
was
right?
all
Like,
naturally
It
made.
was like
so.
Probably
grandma
all
made
like
these.
sugar and
Yeah.
lard.
Dude,
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Oh,
I mean,
don't, yeah.
even the top
It's like
end
buying a
bakers weren't
mixtape
using.
out of a trunk of a car. I, up until 4 years ago, used to buy Girl Scout cookies by the box load out of a trunk of cars. So. But once when I got married, that I wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
Wait, I feel like this comes full circle because before we sat down to like really talk on mic, I was explaining that I was a brownie for
Yep.
approximately 2 weeks, and you actually looked up the uniform.
Oh, wow. Yep,
Yeah.
sure
That's
did.
awful.
That's bad.
It may have been an ugly uniform, but this was not an ugly beer that we had.
no.
The S'mores
So
by
good.
Southern
I
Tier.
love the empty glasses around the table. This warms my heart.
Mine was
Jess.
empty too quick.
I'm trying to savor mine. Mine didn't go down as quick. I was hosting too much.
So I wanted to savor as well. Yeah, that ain't happening. It just I had to keep going back.
It's true.
This is legit. I'd say one of the top 10 beers we've had on the show.
Yes,
I would say so
agree
too,
with that.
yeah. And I wanted to jump back to something that Cassandra mentioned at the top of the segment, was that when the beer warms up, it doesn't really change that much. Like, you don't have to wait for the flavors to open up. And that's something I've noticed. Like, my beer is a little bit warmer, but it's not changed on me. It's still the same balance. It's still that same flavors that come through all the way through.
And that's something you'll notice with a lot of, big stouts, heavy stouts that have a lot of adjuncts and stuff like that. They'll evolve as you go through the temperature change.
Yeah.
This stayed fantastic the whole way through.
Yeah, this one just stays the same, and that's good because I don't have to want to wait around for it to warm up.
For those notes to open up. Unfortunately, I can't comment on that. Mine didn't get the opportunity
Yours just went away.
warm up. It was like David Blaine. Mine appeared like 30 feet away inside my stomach.
All right, well, I think we're good enough to go to the podium. As most of the listeners know, we like to take all three beers that we drank tonight and we rank them on a podium, bronze, silver, and gold. It doesn't really mean too much because we're not really comparing it against anything, and especially tonight because all the beers were good.
Yeah,
all the beers were good tonight, so it doesn't matter. It's just all personal preference and taste, I think, tonight. So,
man.
I'll start out.
This is a tough
I'll
one.
start out. Yeah, I'm seeing some confused faces, so I'll start out. Bronze, I'm going to give to the Hazy IPA, just because it is a good beer. It's really drinkable. It's really refreshing. It's something you're definitely going to want to put a number of them down, like on a hot summer day, especially before a Pirates game. Like, you can come in here and have a good number of those and get ready for the game like that way. It's just personal taste, like I already said, and so that one's bronze. I like hazy IPAs, but I like things with coffee more, and then I like fatty boy stouts even more. So with that said, silver is going to go to the Coffee Blonde. It's a really good beer, and it's definitely comparable to the Spoon City, or to the Spoonwood Cold Drip City. I'll get there.
There you
I'll
go.
get to it.
You done did it.
Yeah, it's very comparable to that beer. They're both, very easy drinking beers. So this one is nice because it has that local flair and it has a different coffee flavor, but it's still very prominent. You can taste it, but it does fade into that blonde ale that makes you want to come back for more. So it's just a repeat drinker, and at 5%, you can have a lot of those as well. But gold goes to this Blackwater Series S'mores on Nitro because why wouldn't it? Yeah, it's such a really good beer. And, as a perpetual fan of the Blackwater Series, it's just another in my belt that I have to remind myself to get a hold of. And that's all that it is to it. It's an even drinker. We've talked about it at length already, and it's really good. Adam Dennis?
I'll go. What the hell? So I'm gonna.
Adam gets really bold and confident with that 10%.
He's sitting a little taller.
I am. So I'm gonna reflect what Steve said there. In the bronze medal position, I'm gonna put the hazy IPA there, and the reason that's there is not because of the craftsmanship and not because of the beer itself, but simply because of my personal tastes. I'm not an IPA guy, but I'll say that this is a strong bronze medal position because it is a good beer for the style. For what it is, it's really good. If anybody enjoys a New England or a hazy style IPA, grab it. It's worth it. It's not super sweet like other hazy IPAs we've had in the past. Brewdog, I'm looking at you. Grab it. Enjoy it. In the silver medal position, I got to go with this Coffee Blonde. This is a very, very drinkable beer. This is the beer that you want to grab if you're out in the beer garden here at Southern Tier. Grab it, drink it, talk with some friends, empty that glass, go get another one. Repeat as necessary. When you've done repeating it, grab an Uber home. That's the way your evening should be. Bottom line.
Be safe.
Yes. However, unfortunately, it came up against a Goliath that is this S'mores beer. Well, shit. Really good beer. And I know it sounds like we're kind of blowing smoke up your ass a little bit here, Justin, but no. No. This is a really good beer. And I am grabbing a crowler of this on the way out, just so you know. Because I'll put my money behind this beer because I'm taking it home. Period. So that goes in the gold medal position.
Ditto.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Dennis.
All right, guess I'm up. So I think this may be the first time in Hop Nation USA history where we had all three exact same lineups. So in the bronze position, it's definitely going to go to the Hazy. Really tasty. Love the beer. Really well balanced. In the silver bracket is definitely going to go the coffee blonde. You get that full bouquet of coffee on your nose. You get a little bit of coffee up front, but it evolves into a blonde ale on the back end. Really, really tasty. But I'm telling you guys, right now, you're hearing this live. That s'mores beer, Blackwater Series, Southern Tier, Nitro, get your hands on it. Because that is insane. I feel like I'm dropping the hottest single in 1998. Like, you got to get down here. This shit is good.
Hate me now?
Sweet baby Jesus. I want another
sweet,
one.
Like a fresh, funky beat.
It is so good. Like the mouthfeel, the complexity, the 1/3 of your face that's going to dive into that memory foam mattress of a beer is just so delicious.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I got. Get it.
All right. So that comes to our favorite part. Is anytime we're at a brewery, we like to ask our guests to rank their babies.
Oof.
Cassandra or Justin, I'll let you choose who wants to go first, but you got to go bronze,
I'll go first
silver, and gold.
I feel like Justin ranking his babies, that's hard. Because these three are all Justin's babies. So
True.
this is
Everyone has a favorite kid.
You got to give him the final final in this one. So I'm not a New England IPA drinker, so Hazy goes to bronze. I can appreciate what Justin has done with this beer, and I love the fact that so many people in our community love this beer. So, North Shore Fog, Hazy IPA, it's been a staple, and I've seen it bring a lot of people a lot of pleasure. That's blonde, or that's bronze. Silver coffee, I'm with you guys. Like, everything about coffee, I think it's an easy drinker. I think it's a very approachable blonde. If you like coffee, it's a great beer. So I like the subtlety of that. I really like the nose trick with the coffee, and I like doing that with guests. I don't know how much we've talked about this on, but off, I know we've talked about me being a lush for the s'mores. So right now, I'm going to be sad to see this one go out of season, and I do love it. I think. I find Blackwaters to be great, but I find me always stopping at one. This is the one Blackwater that I don't stop at just one. And it does sound like we're blowing a lot of smoke, but I think you need to try it, and once you try it, you'll understand what we're talking about here today. So those are the babies. I agree with the boys. The podcast boys.
Hop Nation USA boys.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go off that. I mean, the hype is real for the s'mores. It's a great beer. As far as the ones I make, I feel like I'm ranking my kids here. Who do I love more? But I'm just going to go with, I'm going to put the coffee blonde in front of the Hazy just because of, what it means to me as my first recipe. Mm-hmm. Just the continued, action we see with it here behind the bar. It was cool to see the Hazy IPA kind of, turn into a brand as well. It was kind of cool to see, be a part of that research and development. But, if I'm going to rank them, I'll probably have to go bronze to the Hazy. We'll go silver with the coffee blonde, out of the two that are made here. And then I agree with you guys. I think, like anybody out there, if you see this on the shelves, bring some cans. Show up to your campfire, your party, your backyard. Really share this beer with people because they'll be impressed. So.
Right on. Cool. Like you said, it's awesome that the two beers that we had that were brewed by you are constantly down here. The Hazy and the coffee, and then on top of that, the s'mores was partially developed by you.
Yeah.
So you've had your hand in all of these beers,
Right.
and damn, they're all good.
They're all good. It's a touch of Justin.
Yeah.
Touch of Justin.
I mean, honestly, we're blessed to have him, and we're thankful that he's our head brewer. So, his constant innovation, and I think what we appreciate is Justin listens to the staff and he listens to the guests, and he like the next beer is based on, hey, I want to tweak this a little bit, or I want to do this a little bit. And, you know, it was like even this morning, you know, Justin approached us at 10 o'clock in the morning. He's like, here's my next one. And we're like, Justin, it's 10 a.m. Like, he's so excited to like share what's next. And, you know, his passion for brewing, I think, comes through in what we serve here and how we're able to get his brand out there. So we're really appreciative of what he does.
Well, unfortunately, Adam, I think that makes you not the pride of Venango County anymore.
Technically. Actually.
I haven't been here long enough to earn that title.
When you make a friend, but that one friend takes everything from you.
I feel so betrayed.
It's literally an episode of Game of Thrones.
Why don't you co-share? There doesn't need to be a favorite. We can all share in that.
With that, though, I would like to turn it over again to Cassandra and Justin. Just promote anything that you have coming up, any events or your social media. You know, Justin, I know some brewers like to get into the mix on Twitter. If you're one of those brewers, let everybody know how they can follow you. And
yeah, I'm not really active on Twitter. I do have an Instagram. You know, it's out there. It would be my name, I guess, Justin Schau. But I've got some numbers in there. So it'd be JUSTI1N5S5CHAU. But yeah, if you want to follow me on social media, I take a lot of stories of kind of the daily operations here. You know, you're welcome to follow me there. Cassandra can kind of plug you guys in on different stuff as far as our brand, I guess.
Yeah. Justin's picks are fire. Like, he has such a good eye. So I would definitely recommend following him. And you can get to him, too, off of the Southern Tier. So all of the Southern Tier Pittsburgh handles are STBC beer _PGH. So our logo is always the one in black and gold. That's the one here. So all of the Southern Tier is STBC beer, but we're _PGH to follow. You can tell it's Pittsburgh because black and gold.
Yeah.
Yes, black and gold. So that's where we're at. In terms of things coming up, I would say just check out, follow us on any one of the social medias. We're most active on Instagram. Facebook, you learn more about events. Instagram is sort of like daily updates. And then Twitter is there, but Twitter and beer, it's an interesting...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of things lately, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think we primarily stick to Instagram and Facebook, although we do have a Twitter. So it's all STBC beer _PGH. And I mean, if you're coming down to a game this season, stop in. You know, if you're pit tailgating or anything on the North Shore, regatta, arts festival, there's always something happening in the city. And, you know, on the weekends, we do open at 10 a.m. A lot of people don't realize that. So if you're here for one of the 5Ks that happen on the North Shore, literally 5 times a weekend, stop in, grab a beer after, and cheers with your friends for completing your 5K. So, you know, we hope to see you down here.
Or if you want to while out before you go to the War Hall.
True. Yeah, we get some museum, tailgaters.
Yeah. We'd be surprised, how many people come over from the Science Center on the weekends and Stage AE pre-concerts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's honestly, we're built for those kind of,
Right.
we should be your pre-game spot. So, we were pleased to be voted last year the best place to pre-game on the North Shore.
Nice.
We're hoping to take that title back.
Agree.
Spent
my bachelor party here.
Bachelor parties, we got you. We got you.
Hold on, you spent your bachelor party here, and you had your wedding reception in Allegheny City.
Yeah, no, I got some problems.
Are you into beer or something? I don't know.
I'm into the beers.
He likes the beers.
So does that mean that the baby shower is going to be with Jake Beer?
It can happen. I'm going to make a whole North Shore round.
I like it.
That's up to me. It's up to Sammy.
All right. If you want to find us on social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA, and that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, then search Hop Nation USA on your favorite podcatcher, including Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts now? Yes, yeah. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Laughable, And that's all I can remember at this time. But if you're on any of those platforms, leave us a 5-star review because
We are a 6-star show, but they only let us use 5.
and that's a bigger crime than us not getting canned spirits from Southern Tier. We'll have to settle. Oh my God, settle for taking crowlers of s'mores home tonight.
If you guys are looking for us, Dennis Guy, First Sip Brew Box, all of our handles are at First Sip Brew Box. We'll be featuring Southern Tier for our Father's Day Brew Box for the month of June. So hit us up. We're working closely with these guys to come up with a really unique brew box to send out. We still have some leftover Veterans Brew Boxes as well.
Right on.
So make sure you slide in those DMs and soak those up. Some of the proceeds are going for a really good cause for veterans in PA Foundation.
Yeah, and the Veterans Brew Box had that exclusive T-shirt that you can get. So
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
worked with an active duty military artist who designed everything in a war zone.
Oof.
So, fun fact, it came out a little crooked. Couldn't blame him. Mortars falling all around. So, we had to work and get stuff, a little squared away there, but it's really heartfelt showcase between, with the Memorial Day veterans no longer here, cheersing the veterans that are currently still around. So, it's really, really cool. But again, Father's Day, we got the brew box for you.
I just want to thank Justin and Cassandra and Southern Tier in general for having us in and letting us drink your beers and talk everything over.
That was great. I appreciate you guys even putting us on the radar and wanting to stop in. So it was a great time, man.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to the bar. I'm going to go get all my crowlers filled.
Does anybody have anything else? Okay. Well, then we'll be back next week with episode 110. I don't know what's happening yet, so no previews.
Southern Tier episode 2.
Maybe.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't promise things like that.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Bugaboo out.